This full moon is going to show you exactly what needs to change. Hello, Cosmic Fam, and welcome back to Moonlight News, where we pick up what the stars are putting down so you can navigate your life with clarity, confidence, and cosmic timing. I'm Laurel, and tonight we're stepping into the full moon in Scorpio, where what's been hidden begins to come up and truths start to surface. Emotions intensify as the energy of the full moon assists us in letting go so we can create space for something new to come in. But perhaps even more importantly, this is a cosmic opportunity to choose to move differently. What's coming up right now is meant to transform you. This is the kind of energy that changes you. So whatever is rising up to the surface for you, think of it as a doorway, and transformation is what's waiting for you on the other side. So just what are we getting ourselves into? Because anytime Scorpio is involved, it gets a little intense. There's a lot of emotions here, a lot of depth. And honestly, I feel like Scorpio kind of gets a bad rap. Sometimes things are a little too deep with Scorpio. It can make people feel uncomfortable. The core themes of Scorpio are emotional truth, release, power, and transformation. It's a lot of exposing what's hidden underneath the surface or trying to keep things private. Full moons naturally illuminate what's been hidden, bringing what's underneath the surface into your awareness. And in the Scorpio area of your chart, you may be faced with things that you've been holding on to that are holding you back, or things that you're attached to that are actually toxic. We have the Sun in Taurus opposing this full moon while also squaring Pluto in Aquarius, which matters because Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. Then on May 6th, Pluto will go retrograde. On May 2nd, Mercury will enter the sign of Taurus the day after the full moon. All while we are still acclimating to Uranus and Venus's movement through Gemini. And Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. So this energy is very active, it's layered, and it's moving. I'm going to be getting into all of this in this episode, so go ahead and grab your diving suits and let's dive in. Full moons are formed by an opposition between where the sun is and what is opposing it on the opposite side of the zodiac, in this case, Scorpio. This will create a tension between Taurus's stability and comfort and what feels safe, with Scorpio's change, depth, and emotional truth. This may feel like a push and pull between holding on and letting go, between what feels familiar and what's ready to evolve. Ask yourself, where am I holding on to something just because it feels familiar? What truths have I been avoiding or pushing down? And what am I afraid will happen if I let go? There is already a lot of energetic pressure going on right now, so I want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself because this is going to go deep, whether you try and force it or not. When you're being faced with uncomfortable truths, you don't have to rush through it. You can explore it at your own pace, but stay aware and pay attention to the patterns that these emotional processes are bringing up for you. And with the square to Pluto in the mix, this is even deeper, which is why everything feels so intense right now. We have the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius, and this is important because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. This intensifies everything, bringing deeper truths to the surface and pushing transformation forward. Traditionally, before Pluto was discovered, Mars ruled the sign of Scorpio. So while Pluto is working beneath the surface, Mars, currently in Aries, is bringing in the urgency and the action. So this isn't just about feeling something, this is also about acting on what you feel when you see a truth and then decide to move on it. And not to burst your bubble, but Pluto is going retrograde on May 6th, and that just means we go even deeper. What's been shifting externally will begin to turn inward. It's a long descent inward. From May through mid-October, transformation will move below the surface again, giving you space to process all the changes happening within you in this area of your chart. Transformation may slow down on the outside, so real change can then take hold on the inside. This is not a time to rush your decisions. On May 2nd, the day after the full moon, Mercury enters Taurus and will remain there until May 18th. This will bring another slowdown, a moment to ground your thoughts, process what's coming up, and begin making steady, intentional decisions. This energy wants clarity you can trust and ideas that you can actually build on, in conversations that mean something. This is a time to sit with your ideas for a bit. Especially with all the activity around Uranus entering Gemini, you may have had a lot of insights come in quickly, and now Mercury in Taurus is asking you to examine those thoughts, see if they actually hold weight before acting on them. Venus rules Taurus and Mercury rules Gemini, and Venus is currently in Gemini. This creates a more active and noticeable dialogue between what you value and how you think. Energetically, we're being pulled in two different directions right now, between feeling grounded and feeling restless. While Mercury in Taurus slows your thoughts down, Venus in Gemini is opening your mind up. You may be more receptive to new ideas or perspectives, especially through your friendships and social circles. And Taurus is asking you to think more carefully about what you're building and whether your connections are truly supportive of where you're going. So you're not rushing your decisions, but you're also not shutting down your curiosity. You can kind of think of this as like, you know that you want to do something and you're just thinking it through on how you're going to do it. You're taking in new ideas, new perspectives. So this is all working together where you're holding back, but you've already decided you just want to have everything together before you move. Mercury in Taurus asks, is this idea something I can actually build on? Or is it just exciting in the moment? Do my current connections support what I'm trying to create? Or are they distracting me from it? And am I giving myself enough time to think this through before I act? And if you want to go deeper into the Uranus and Gemini energy, I did talk about it a lot more in my previous video, Tarot and Transits, episode 2, Why Taurus Season Feels So Charged. So feel free to check that out. I'll leave the link in the description if you're curious to explore that further. This is a very charged Taurus season, which may be why everything feels like it really matters as well. So when you put this all together, it might feel like every decision and every experience carries more weight, more significance. And in a way it does. It always does. But sometimes we feel that truth more deeply, and this is one of those times. And as uncomfortable as it may seem, it's really an opportunity to get a rare glimpse into things that we're not always up for looking at. With the Sun in Taurus opposing the full moon in Scorpio, you're feeling the tension between what feels stable and what's ready to change. While the Sun scoring Pluto in Aquarius is adding pressure, pushing deeper truths to the surface, asking you to evolve. Mercury moving into Taurus is slowing everything down so you can actually process what's coming up, while Venus and Uranus in Gemini are opening your mind with new ideas, fresh perspectives, and unexpected shifts. So you're holding both depth and movement, grounding and transformation. You will feel things deeply. That's the Scorpio energy, compelling you to think things through more carefully, is the Taurus influence. And what naturally follows is you moving with intention, with what is being revealed. Because what's coming up right now is showing you what can no longer stay the same. So now let's bring this down into your life. Where is this happening for you? Because this full moon in Scorpio is activating a specific area of everybody's chart, and this is where the emotional truths, the power, and the transformation are rising to the surface. Starting with the first house. If you're a Scorpio rising or have Scorpio in your first house, this house governs your identity and your body and how you show up in the world. This full moon may bring a heightened awareness of who you are right now. You may notice patterns in how you present yourself or react instinctively. Something about your identity is being revealed more clearly, and this can bring a desire to release an old version of yourself so you can step more fully into who you're becoming. If Scorpio is in your second house, or if you're a Libra rising, this house governs your self-worth, your values, and your sense of stability. You may feel where you've been holding on out of fear or comfort. There can be an emotional connection to money or security coming to the surface. This is asking you to reassess what actually supports you and release anything that doesn't align with your true sense of self-worth. If Scorpio is in your third house, or if you're a Virgo rising, this house governs your thoughts, your voice, and your communication. The full moon may highlight your inner dialogue, and you may become aware of thoughts you've been avoiding. Conversations may surface that bring truth into the open. This is a moment to speak honestly and release narratives that no longer feel true. If Scorpio is in your fourth house, or if you're a Leo rising, this house governs your home and family, and your emotional foundations. This full moon may bring old emotions or family dynamics to the surface, and you may feel more reflective about your past. Something deep within your inner world is being illuminated. This is an opportunity to release what you've been carrying so you can feel more grounded within yourself. If Scorpio is in your fifth house, or if you're a Cancer rising, this house governs your creativity, your joy, and your self-expression. This full moon may reveal where you've been holding back. You may feel a deeper connection to what brings you joy. Something about how you express yourself is asking to evolve, and this is about reclaiming your authenticity and allowing it to be seen. If your sixth house is in Scorpio, if you're a Gemini rising, this house governs your routines, your habits, and your well-being. The full moon may bring awareness to patterns in your daily life. You may see clearly what is no longer working, and there can be emotional insights around your responsibilities. This is a time to release habits that drain you and create routines that actually support you. If you have Scorpio in the seventh house, or if you're a Taurus rising, this house governs your relationships and one-on-one connections. This full moon may bring truth to the surface within your relationships. You may see dynamics more clearly, or something unspoken may now be felt. This can highlight imbalances or deeper emotional needs and ask you to move towards more honest and aligned connections. If Scorpio is in your eighth house, or if you're an Aries rising, this house governs intimacy, shared energy, and deep transformation. This is Scorpio's natural home, so the intensity may feel stronger here. Deep emotional patterns, fears, or attachments may rise to the surface. This is a powerful moment of release and transformation. If Scorpio is in your ninth house, or if you're a Pisces rising, this house governs your beliefs, your perspectives, and your truth. This full moon may challenge something you once believed. You may feel a shift in how you see the world. Something that felt certain may now be questioned. This is about evolving your perspective through deeper truth. If Scorpio is in your 10th house, or if you're in Aquarius rising, this house governs your career, your purpose, and your public life. The full moon may bring clarity around your direction. You may see where something no longer aligns. There can be emotional insights around how you're showing up. This is a moment to release what's untrue to you and realign with your path. You may be discovering your true life's calling. If Scorpio is in your 11th house, or if you're a Capricorn rising, this house governs your friendships, your community, and your future vision. The full moon may highlight your social circles. You may recognize who aligns with where you're going and who you may be outgrowing. This is about aligning your connections with your future. If you have Scorpio in the 12th house, or if you're a Sagittarius rising, this house governs your subconscious, your inner world, and what's been hidden. This full moon may bring something deeply buried to the surface. You may feel more introspective. Patterns that you weren't fully aware of may now be revealed. There's a release point, a chance to let go of what you've been carrying. Wherever this full moon is landing for you, that's where the truth is rising. That's where the release is happening, and that's where transformation is already in motion. Astrology is a wonderful tool to see how energy moves through you. And there's a lot of energy going on right now. I mean, what a time to be alive. This is a really powerful time to book a reading so we can look at your chart together. But if you'd like to work with this energy on your own, I also have some herbs, some crystals, and a ritual guide you can use to work with this energy. The universe is not taking something from you. It is revealing something to you. What's rising to the surface right now is showing you what's been there all along, asking to be seen. And what you choose to do with that truth, that's where everything begins to change. As you choose what happens next, that's what it means to take your power back. So trust what's coming up, even if it feels uncomfortable. I'll be back next week with a deep dive into Taurus season. So until next time, stay brave, stay in motion, stay heroic, and remember, the universe has your back. Well, y'all, it's been a day. It's been a whole damn day. I recorded my video and then I went about my day, and I'm finishing it now at the end of my day. And let me just tell you, I think it was a really good experiment for this full moon because I feel like a totally different person. Okay, so we're already in the full moon energy. People feel what's going on energetically, but they don't always know where it's coming from, like where their thoughts or feelings or fears or anxieties are coming from. They are coming from inside of us. They are. But they're also coming from energetic influences outside of us. And Scorpio season, Scorpio anything, Scorpio is a sign that's known to have the thinnest veil between our physical realm and the spiritual realm. So we're more aware that there's a whole nother realm, dimension, reality outside of this physical one. And the opposite sign of Scorpio is Taurus, which is the most grounding sign, like the one that's like, what's real, what I see, I don't believe until I see. Like, even for me, I'm a Taurus. I've always been a very spiritual person since I was really young. What the astrology did for me was take something that was spiritual. It gave it something tangible for me to point it to. All the things that I felt or saw or experienced. Ideas, these concepts, this energy, these feelings, these, what I feel like I know, but I can't explain how I know it. The astrology gave me something solid. And I think it's so ironic because it's in the sky, but it's what grounds me. So I don't know if that makes sense, but we need that grounding from Taurus to keep us tethered. I half expected this full moon to be difficult for me to go through. And I think in a lot of ways it was still difficult, but I kept telling myself, like, I'm going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be uncomfortable. And I was uncomfortable. I was able to experience that in a way that made me feel empowered, and like the energy wasn't just going to take me for a ride. I was going to tell this energy where to go. I was going to tell this energy where to go. The other thing that I mentioned in the video was about the push and pull that we're in between because of all the activity that's happening in Aries and Gemini. Both of those next to Taurus. And then how the opposition in Scorpio is happening with all of this very busy energy happening. I was trying to kind of bridge a gap between that and like think of an analogy to help explain like kind of what this energy is like. And it reminded me of when I was learning to ride a bike. It might have been like a bigger bike, like not a kid's bike, like a 10-speed. I had a 10-speed bike when I was in middle school. Funny story about that I might share, but let me just get through this analogy first. And when you stopped it, but if you're going like downhill, the bike slows down, but you're still moving. You're still in motion, but you're slowing down. So you don't crash, or so you don't hurt yourself, or so you can take a turn, but not take it too sharp. That's kind of what this energy feels like. The brakes is Taurus energy. Taurus energy is trying to pump the brakes on what Aries is doing. It's saying like, oh, okay, hold on. Let's let's settle this in, because if we go too fast too soon, then this is gonna fizzle out. Like, we need to stabilize these ideas, this momentum, this energy, these dreams, these seeds that you've planted. We need to get them in the root so they'll be strong and healthy, and they'll grow to be big and strong and healthy. Yeah. And so that was kind of what I came up with. That's what Taurus is trying to do. But our mind is going, our hearts are going, our anxiety is going, our subconscious fears are coming up. Like, all of this is happening, which is a good reason to, pump the brakes and let this energy kind of like what I call flesh itself out. When I go through purgings, or I need to cry, or just anything that I need to feel that I don't want to feel, that I'm kind of like pushing back and saying, oh, no, don't feel that. I always tell myself, when it comes up to the surface and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go through this. I always tell myself, just to kind of give myself a break, I always just kind of say, hey, you got to flesh it out. It needs to just kind of come out and dissipate. Animals in the wild, I learned this on, Discovery Channel. When they are attacked by a predator and they get away from the predator, they shake. They shake off the trauma. Like, they shake off that experience. So they don't, like, even they instinctually know not to carry it with them. And Scorpio season is like that. It's the universe shaking us on the inside, kind of releasing some of that trauma so we don't carry it with us, kind of releasing some of those things inside of us that are kind of weighing us down. Things that are usually weighing us down are things that are toxic, or things that we're unhealthily attached to, or things that we're afraid to bring out into the light, things we're afraid to speak to people because we're afraid. We don't want to see it. We don't have time to see it, whatever it is. And Scorpio season, or any Scorpio activation, is a time where things are going to come up. But there's a process with that there's a process of empowerment. Whenever you face a fear, whenever you climb a mountain, when you overcome a challenge, you come out the other side of it bigger than you were before, stronger, more confident, more empowered. That's a transformation that's waiting for us on the other side. So we're kind of all going through that challenge somewhere in our life right now. The other thing I wanted to mention was the new moon in Scorpio happened on November 20th of 2025. That was when we planted seeds. So whatever was going on in your life in November of 2025, emotionally, energetically, at that time, there was five there was 5 planets retrograde at that time. Like, there was an opposition to Uranus at that time. Like, it was, I wouldn't say a busy time, but a real, like, introspective, intensive time. It would have been a hard time, I think, for people, but more like on the inside, because all the planets were retrograde. So this was all big workings. What's happening now is almost a culmination of the seeds that we planted November of 2025. What we were going through. So if you can think back to that time, you can think about maybe what you've learned, what you're ready to speak up about, what you're ready to face, what you're ready to overcome, where you're ready to take your power back. Like, now you're coming out of a process that started 6 months ago. So this is a good thing, even if it doesn't feel good. That's what I've been telling everybody today. And these are kind of things, like, this is what we want at a soul level. We want these kinds of opportunities to break through. This one is really deep, especially with the square to Pluto and Aquarius. That's like deep squared. That's like double deep. This is a very deep lunation cycle. So it's really getting in there, deep cleaning the soul, kind of. The tectonic plates, they shift. Not very often, but when they do, it kind of creates earthquakes. It creates things on the surface, tsunamis, different things happen. There is some seismic activity happening in our soul right now, and it is going to change things on the outside. But we are what's changing on the outside. That's the evolution I was talking about. A lot of times we think of it as a disaster or something really catastrophic, something really traumatic, something really scary. But it's really us. It's our transformation that's happening in this process. We are the transformation. So hopefully that helps bring it in. Bring it a little bit more into your awareness. So you're really centering this around where it needs to be. Things are going to change inside of you before they change outside of you. And there's a lot of back and forth right now with the inside and outside and inside and outside and inside and outside. That is what happens with retrogrades and forward. And then there's all this movement in Aries, and then everything is like, oh, all systems are go, all the horses are going. And then Taurus season is like, woo, rein it in. And now we're like, oh my gosh, are we stopping? Are we starting? Are we going? Are we staying? Are we here? Are we there? Should I do this? Should I not do this? And that's kind of the Uranus and Gemini energy, like the brain going all over the place. So take a deep breath. Try and breathe. It's okay. So everyone's feeling it. Everyone I've been talking to, I'm just here to be the guinea pig. I'm showing you what I'm talking about. I went outside and looked at the moon, and it was beautiful. I went outside and looked at the moon, and I was like, I could never be afraid of you. I'm going to cry. It was so beautiful. But I really was like, I could never be afraid of you. It is Scorpio. So one would cry. I wasn't gonna cry. I don't even know why I'm crying. They're happy tears, I promise. They are happy. Sometimes I have more faith in the things I can't see than what's right in front of me. I know this is like telling my age a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys are Aerosmith fans, but there's an Aerosmith song. We're living on the edge. So I'll go ahead and tell you that funny story, and then I'll close out. I had a bike. A 10-speed bike. I was riding my bike down the street, and I had a boyfriend who lived down the street. And it was just, it seemed like a long way to me when I was, in middle school, but it was really only like, 5 or 6 houses down. And I could only talk to him on the phone. I was in middle school. I had overprotective parents. Like, they weren't going to let me go to his house or anything like that. So I'm riding the bike down the street, my 10-speed. It was red and white. There was no blue. And I am feeling fantastic. Like, I love this. I love riding bikes in general, but I'm just feeling so great. And the sun is out. I remember hearing the rustle of the leaves in the trees. I remember the breeze on my face and the warmth of the sun on this side and the breeze on this side. And I'm riding my bike, and I'm like kicking my feet out. I'm kicking my feet out as I'm riding my bike and kicking my feet out. And then I just decide, for some reason that I will never know, I just decide to say, I love America. And I'm like literally screaming this at the top of my lungs. Call me crazy. As I'm riding my bike down the street, got some momentum, and I'm like, I love America. I love America. And I guess one time I might have kicked a little too far, and I literally face plant crashed into the street right in front of my boyfriend's house. What are the odds? Right in front of a homie's house, okay? This is what happens, is what I tell myself whenever you try and be free. This is what happens when you try and let loose. So my boyfriend's dad comes running out of the house. Like, he is concerned for me, and I hide behind a car. I just left the bike in the street, just left it there. And and I hide behind a car, and he's trying to look for me, and I'm like crawling around. I think he might have seen me. I wasn't very smart, I think he might have seen me. He ended up going inside, figured out that I was just really embarrassed, and that I'd be fine. And eventually I get up, and I had this huge gash on my knee, and I'm bleeding. And I walk my bike back to the house, and then the dad comes running out, and he helps me, and I don't say a word to him, and he doesn't say a word to me, but he holds the bike for me, and he takes me down the street back to my house, and then I go inside. And I tell my aunt the story of what happened. And to this day, she brings it up. When I go and visit, she will always bring up the I love America story. It doesn't have anything to do with the full moon in Scorpio. It doesn't. But it does have to do with riding a bike, inertia. Sometimes you face plant. It's uncomfortable. That's the I Love America story. You're welcome.